So welcome to this edition of Coffee and Conversations. I'm here with Mandeep Chopra from Limited Editions. Thank you so much for coming today.
Pleasure.
So Mandeep, can you tell me a bit about yourself? Tell me how you got into the sneaker game and what the future holds for you.
I'm from a family business, so it's always been in the sporting goods industry. So about 15 years ago, we started Limited Edition. It was like the first sneaker boutique in Singapore. That just boiled down to my passion for sports and sneakers, and it was a natural progression. And I just saw the opportunity to, at that point in time, there were very few sneaker stores in the world, and I just saw the opportunity as something new, something really interesting, and Limited Edition was born.
I mean, as a business globally, sneakers, limited edition sneakers seems to be a pop culture booming thing, really. I mean, where do you find yourself in that?
It's changed so much over the years. If you think about it, back in the day, people wore sneakers. Maybe they liked that athlete. They wore Michael Jordan shoes because they love the athlete. But right now, the influences, it's not just about the athletes anymore, right? You see musicians, artists. So it's like you say, it's a whole culture thing, right? It's not just it's not just the sports athlete anymore. So you see musicians, Kanye West. You see artists, designers, right? Everybody is coming into the game, and it's kind of made this whole sneaker industry, just the size of it just go exponential, I would say.
I mean, it's boomed so much, it might even be hard to relate for the layman how people can spend that much for what seems to be just a pair of shoes, but I see there's almost a cult following, am I right?
I don't understand it either, but yeah, where kids get the money these days, I don't understand either. But people attach value to these things. To them, for a lot of them, also it's like an investment, right? Whether it's and you see sites which have come out on the internet, StockX, Goat, and you've kind of put like value on these items, so people actually think they're an investment, and so it's just kind of built this whole secondary market to it also. So it's really interesting, and it's something which I think the youth has gravitated towards, and they see it as a commodity even.
There's limited editions, there's collabs, and there's fewer stock. It's almost like the producers of these shoes want to make them a rare item and drive that culture.
I mean, there's always a bit of that, but it's a demand and supply thing. I mean, they could produce a lot of numbers also, but because the demand is so much, it makes it seem that there isn't that much going around. But so it's in a way it's like a game. You put it that way, but obviously some things work, some things don't work.
I mean, Adidas has had to put in place measures for people not to use bots on their website to buy a ridiculous amount of shoes. There was footage of people getting mobbed in shops having bought 30, 40 pairs of a new pair of shoes.
It's crazy. It's a crazy world, right? I mean, even we face issues with bots. A small website like ours, and we struggle there, and that's been my hesitancy to put like really limited stuff on my website, because you deal with all these bots overselling, and we're slowly trying to solve these problems. And hey, if a big brand like you say Adidas, the Adidas.com faces this kind of problems, imagine us who
So I understand you come from a family business and you spend a significant amount of time on the sales floor in a retail shop, very brick and mortar. Now that the game's changing, so much is being brought online and everything's really changed fundamentally upwards. How does that make you feel, and where do you see yourself in this new world?
Well, I miss the old world. It's there's just that charm about meeting people and interacting with people, and like you say, I think the first 5-6 years of my life I spent every single day on the shop floor, and I wasn't the boss. I was just another staff, and I served customers, whether it's getting down my knees, letting somebody try on a shoe. I mean, that's and I enjoyed it. It was that interaction. I mean, now when you come into this new world, and especially online, you don't have that face-to-face, but it's a whole new world which we have to embrace. It's something which, it has been a threat also, obviously, just being a retail business, and now people having so much choices here, you don't have to buy, because the whole world is their marketplace, right? So there's so much choices for where people buy. So, but along with it being a threat, it's also a big opportunity for us to embrace it. And again, just like how you knew a customer by meeting him face to face, is how do you start getting to know that customer through this online world, right? And there's so much data, I guess, that you can get from that also. And whether it's making recommendations, which you would do also on the physical world, but now even on the online world, it's how I guess we have to embrace this whole new world to still have that feeling that the person is in a retail store, but instead now it's in your e-commerce site.
You do have the advantage of having very limited edition, collab-rich shoes and products, meaning that you don't necessarily have to diversify your site or make the shopping experience that special, because you do have that supply and very demand and scarce goods.
True. Yeah. I mean, that is definitely a big part of it, and sometimes we don't have to do the hard sell because people are. It's almost like, how do we control it? How do we make sure people don't take advantage of it? So that's more of the challenge, and or you make sure they can only buy one pair. Make sure they're not using bots or making not unfair methods to, because in the end, I think our role also, because the supply is so limited, and it's always been our role, especially in Singapore, to kind of make sure it goes out to the right person.
So I can see that coming from the retail experience previously. For you, it's really the goal for the shoe to go to the user, for them to have that full experience of shopping, wearing, using, as opposed to going to people that want to arbitrage the market and just resell.
Yep.
Right? Is there anything in the future that you see that's going to attach onto that, other than controlling who wears, but in terms of shopping experience online? Is there something you're looking at from a tech perspective or UX perspective?
I mean, it's just really interesting. How do you get to know that consumer, which is sitting behind their computer in a much better way, and knowing if there's ways to know what their intentions are. Hey, am I going to resell it? It's just, how do I have conversations with those people would be something really interesting to me. And that's the whole thing about getting to know that customer, which you could do in a physical environment, but how can you get to know them in that retail environment is something that really interests me.
It's really reaching through the screen, touching your end user.
How do you do that? Yeah, I mean, and of course, even if it's not face to face, or maybe it can be face to face, but how do you, in a way, it's almost like sifting out, because it's a limited product, right? You want it to go to the end consumer. So how can I sift that person out? And it's probably something maybe more unique for our industry, where it's not like mass market and you just want to sell as many as you can, but rather it's kind of, how do I allocate this product in the best way possible?
Mandeep, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for tuning in to Coffee and Conversations. I'm afraid that's all the time we have today. See you soon.